Hello, I'm Miguel, and today I'm here with Rafael Aguirre, and we're gonna have 5 questions with Rafa.
Nice to be with you, Miguel.
Nice to be with you too.
Yes. Let's start.
Okay. All right. So, who's your favorite guitarist?
Oh my God, that's the first question. Okay. Do I have to say one name only?
You can say if you
Okay,
can have your trinity if you want to.
I mean, let's say if I take like all my life, I would say John Williams, Paco de Lucia, and Narciso Yepes. Let's say the 3 most influential in my life, you know. But it's very funny. I only heard Paco live from all the 3.
Oh wow.
Yes, and I know he played here in Cordoba many times. You know? I mentioned him in the concert. That he played, with some plants behind, like palm trees. You know, that's very cool. We should do that also, playing with, because we cannot play like him, but we can put all the plants, behind.
Oh, you're pretty close.
At least we look like him. Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool. I love when you played the pieces by, it was a Guajira. There was another one before that.
Granaina, yes. Reflejo de Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moon reflects or something like that.
Yeah. Moonlight Reflections.
Moonlight Reflections. Really cool.
Nice.
That's an old. They are old pieces when he was young composer. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Question number 2.
Yes.
Is Spruce or Cedar regarding guitars?
I have played almost all my life Cedar, but the last guitar I played that was built by my father was Spruce with Madagascar rosewood. Now I came back to Cedar again.
What do you like about Cedar over Spruce? Is there something?
Cedar, let's say, has a very very deep basses, and has a lot of let's say it's a very thick sound. It's very stable, Sometimes, like for instance, I have a very brilliant sound. So if I want to, let's say, have not too brilliant, sound, Cedar helps me more. But I discovered that with Spruce you can dream a lot. You can dream. I mean, you can get so many colors. It's like telling a story. That's more difficult with Cedar. So it depends. We don't have a perfect instrument. So I think it depends on the mood, on what you want. But probably, I think in my case, I get tired. I want to change. I want to experiment. Now I have this new guitar with Cocobolo, it's also new, it's not the roots, but it's a Cocobolo from Mexico, actually. That's a new guitar I got in Greece, and it's very beautiful if you see the back,
Who's the maker?
The maker is Andreas Madimenos from Athens, that's Cedar, Canadian Cedar, and it has very nice, also tuning machines from Italy. I don't remember now the name of the. They're Italian. I will remember anyway. But it's brand new guitar, from this year.
Let's show.
And that's the rosewood. Cocobolo from Mexico.
On sides.
Yes, back and sides, and Spruce.
And you've got the armrest.
Cedar, from Canada. The armrest, it's cool. I don't know. It feels like. Yes, very comfortable. So.
And you've got the raised fretboard.
Yes, very raised. I got a little bit confused at the beginning. I thought that was the 12th fret, and then it's the 13th fret actually. But yes, I have to get used to that. But yes, I like it. It's this lattice guitar now. I wanted to switch again. I played with Natek also many years ago. I did all my competitions. It's also lattice, but this one is slightly different, the kind of sustain that you get, the kind of vibrating, very thin soundboard, you get so many. I can show you like some if you play. It stays really long, like forever,
Great
but
sustain.
Even here on the.
Oh.
this I'm playing. No? But yes, very nice. Has a lot of projection. I really like the sound, because it's lattice, but it has very, very beautiful round sound. And still, knowing the guitar is brand new, But I like to change guitars, from time to time because it makes you curious, knowing how to play a new guitar. So you have to expand your knowledge about guitar playing, about musical curiosity. And let's see how it develops. But at the moment, I'm happy. Yes.
It's like Arias, right? Is that like the Vicente Arias Rosette? No.
Yeah, maybe.
It looks.
When I saw it, I thought it's like the Olympic because he's from Athens, right? Like the Olympic games. Yes, the rings from the Olympic games. But this is. He told me that's a lot of work to do this rosette. And it's very beautiful. The bridge is very very small, as you see, and it's a nice guitar. I think it's the first time I'm showing it like this in front of a camera.
Let's see.
It's very heavy. It's very heavy. It's like going to the fitness.
Can you see the rosette?
Yes.
Can you? No, I'm just saying, Javi. Can you see the rosette or in the video?
Yes.
So, wow. What about strings? Like, some people they use nylon. Like, do you prefer nylon? Do you prefer carbon or titanium?
I mean, I like the sound of both nylon and carbon strings, but to me, I work better on nylon because, as I told you, I have very brilliant sound. Maybe I have very thin nails. I don't know. So when I play carbon strings, I break them very easily. Not break them, but I need to polish them every 30 minutes, something like that. So if I'm playing a concert, I like to play very, very loud, extremely loud as I can. Sometimes I think it's dangerous if I play with carbon strings. Also, the type of vibrato I have, the type of sound I have developed over the years, it's more linked to the nylon, this vibrato, these things. And I also like, when the strings are thick enough, like to me it feels more safe. I don't know why. Like if it's too thin, it's like, I think that's one of the hardest things of playing guitar. The strings are too thin. So in comparison with a piano key, 3 guitar strings is the same like 1 piano key. This is like 2 piano keys. 1 piano key, 1 piano key. So it's very. I think to miss a string, this even Paco de Lucia mentioned that. If your nails suddenly are a little bit shorter, you can't miss one string. Like it feels very unsecure. To play suddenly with shorter nails the day of the concert, to have the perfect shape, length, everything. So to me it feels more like, let's say, the nylon strings, they are a little bit more similar to a piano key. Of course, has nothing to do with a piano key, but to me personally, it feels more. It feels easier to play. Yeah.
Do you mix tensions? Because some people they'll have like higher tension basses or higher tension trebles. Do you mix, or you just or a third string? Like different material than.
To be honest, I'm very lazy changing strings, so to have to experiment with one tension. I know people mix sometimes even 3 different brands of strings, tension. Here I put, you can make so many jokes about it, but it's like, imagine you are in in the middle of a tour in in Australia or in Vietnam or in Bulgaria or whatever. Oh, I have no strings, I forgot them at home, like imagine you have to go to the shop. Can you give me, 1 kilogram of high tension, half kilogram of normal tension, then give me 2 carbon strings, and for the bass, to get used to need so many different brands and tension, I put just hard tension. This is what I've been using for the last years, Pro-Arté Composite. So if I need that, I remember we were in Athens actually with Andreas, with the luthier. Hey, can we try my strings? Okay, let's go to a shop, and they had those strings.
Yeah.
So it's like it's easy, but I was always afraid also to to fall in love, let's say, with strings that are very difficult to find in case I forget them at home. Because I tour. If you don't play many concerts, if you are always at home and you can play your favorite guitar, you don't have to worry about are they going to allow me to carry on my guitar on the plane, and am I going to find all the strings on tour, on all the music shops, I might need them. Then it's fine, you can have the best guitar at home. You can have you can have 20,000 strings of that brand, and then it's fine, But it's just a matter of, I had a teacher when I was a child. He told me, try those strings, they are good. I was also in the factory of Dario in the US, and I saw all the machines. They are so modern, to really to get the exact same string, and I never had problems with them, So
quality control is
very high. Yeah. So yeah, so it's actually something that I got used, and the problem is that no matter which strings you put, the guitar is always difficult to play as an instrument, I think they should invent guitar and strings that play easier, but nobody invented.
Wow.
Maybe fortunately, because then all the hours you spend practicing, it's for a result that's difficult to achieve. Yeah.
True. Do you have a favorite instrument? Besides guitar, like piano, cello, is there, or opera soprano singer? I don't know. Do you have a favorite instrument opposite of?
I would say not a favorite instrument, but favorite repertoire, and for that you need the instrument, which is the piano, I would say. So, as an instrument, if you tell me, okay, let's improvise on the piano or let's improvise on the guitar, maybe I would prefer the guitar. But if you tell me, let's do side reading, let's side read Debussy, Beethoven, Mozart, and Schumann, then the piano is quite amazing. Because I think the piano is so amazing because the minds that wrote for the piano. Mm-hmm. And in the opposite, the guitar had not those brilliant minds, but the instrument, I always put the example of Aranjuez concerto, this just a B minor chord, then with amazing melody. That, is just the magic of the sound. I think part of why people fall in love with the guitar is because of the sound, because of the magic that you cannot explain. And the piano it's more like a laboratory. It's what can you achieve with the piano, with all the voices, with all the counterpoint, with all if you write a sonata, with all the development sections, that you can go from one key to another key, no problem. It's like C major, E flat major, it's always the same position. If you try to do that on the guitar, C major is like this, but B flat major is going to be like some crazy things like that, because you have no open strings, and you only have 4 fingers, to do everything. So I would say the piano.
Yeah. What about instrumentalists? Any instrument. It doesn't have to be guitar. Any instrumentalist.
Like soloists or
soloists. Or Horowitz, Casals.
Yeah, well, the list is
Rubinstein.
I'm reading right now Rubinstein memories, like his autobiography in 2 volumes, which is one of the funniest books I've ever read. I'm still reading it, and it's good to know what happened in the 20th century in general, in the world of music, in the high society, in Paris, in the US, in Spain. He mentions Spain. He mentions even Cordoba. He toured all over Spain. He spoke Spanish very good, and he ended up also buying a house in Malaga, where I'm from, and Rubinstein is incredible. What I love about those times is like compared to nowadays where people try to play always so perfectly without mistakes. Also in our field in the guitar world, in that at that time, you know, CD recordings didn't exist. You know, like you had to record maybe, you know, like this vinyl and everything.
The wax cylinder.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything. So you were allowed to. I mean, mistakes were not seen as they are seen today. We got used to perfection, which is which made that the standards of playing maybe went a little bit higher, technically speaking. But the level of fantasy that you can develop and the freedom that you can develop without aiming to play perfect, I think is much more interesting. So I think Rubinstein is a great example of that, and for that reason I love him. But the list is incredible. I mean, if you tell me pianists I have heard, I mean, the first that come to my mind are Arturo Benedetti, Michelangeli, playing Debussy, but not only. Horowitz, of course, such an expressive, always going to the edge of pianissimo, fortissimo. Daniel Barenboim is one of the musicians that really are influential in my life, because really made me discover Beethoven on the piano, and from there I became interested in many other composers.
And now you're friends with Lang Lang.
We just did made some actually with Cordoba Orchestra in Madrid, but it was great, you know, because it was so easy to play with him. Actually, the better the musician is, the easier is, the less you have to rehearse. But that applies to conductors. Mm-hmm. I played now with Leonard Slatkin, who is a very famous American conductor. It was the shortest rehearsal ever. I think we rehearsed Fantasia para un Gentilhombre in less than 25 minutes.
Where was that? Where did you play with Leonard Slatkin?
On the Canary Islands, Gran Canaria Symphony Orchestra, yes.
He used to be in Detroit.
He was in Detroit,
yes, for many years. He was
many years, also St. Louis, and here in Europe, BBC Symphony Orchestra de Lyon in France too. Yeah, but he also was like principal guest conductor of Los Angeles Philharmonic and many other great orchestras. It was very, very easy. Like, I think the level of concentration that those people have is incredible. So you just you don't need to repeat that much. You just get in this state of flow with music, mm-hmm. and it flows, and it's contagious, you know, with the solo, with the orchestra, with everything, and you're very clear, you know. That's also a level of expertise, and that not many people also have. No?
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't speak about violinists and so, but
if you want to speak, for violin, oof,
so many
Heifetz.
Yeah, Heifetz, but many also.
Even new ones like Julia Fischer.
Yes,
Julia Fischer. Oh my God, the girl from. There's this girl that. Oh my God, it's one of my favorite CDs. It's Vivaldi.
Yes.
And she reduced it, instead of having a whole orchestra. It's like one instrument. Oh my God, I'm gonna.
Many. I also was very impressed with Gideon Kremer playing Bartók solo sonata for violin. I mean, the cellists like Yo-Yo Ma, Misha Maisky, Henry Schiff. I mean, the list is endless. Conductors also, I have learned so much. Semyon Bychkov is a Russian conductor who's one of my favorite. I also was very impressed by his brother, Yakov Kreitzberg, who passed away some years ago. He was a chief conductor in Monte Carlo and in the Netherlands Philharmonic. Incredible conductor, so joyful. Unfortunately, he died very young. So, but I used to listen to, but you know, I try to listen to many musicians. I like Paquito Rivera. I like, of course, Paco de Lucia. I like Caetano Veloso, the Brazilian singer. I think we all love Yamandu Costa, who came here. I think nowadays he's one of the best musicians, not only guitarists in the world. And unfortunately, he's a friend of mine too. And you know, it's always so cool because I love to play guitar, but sometimes can be stressful, you know. And if I can go to a concert and just sit and relax, yeah, and have a beer before, and then don't worry, I cannot drink a beer and then play. I love that, you know. I love I love when I listen to a musician that plays different, totally different than me, and I don't know what to expect. It's like a surprise all the time, but it convinced me like a good book. I love that.
Well, yeah, you saw Avidal yesterday
yes.
with Javi.
Incredible. What I mean, and I told him, I because we are also friends. I told him today that I'm sure that some of the Vivaldi or Bach concerti he might have played. I mean, not thousands of times, but hundreds of times. But still, he can play that as fresh as the first time. It gave me that impression, you know, like so fresh, and at the same time with so much control, engagement. Like what a friend told me, you know, like it seems written for the mandolin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't miss the violin actually, which is quite incredible because the violin produce such long notes and the mandolin doesn't. The mandolin is more like the guitar, you know, but it has the same tuning like a violin. You know, this one, no, we have. So it was quite impressive, you know, and also his relationship with the Orchestra de Córdoba. I mean, and you saw the reaction of the audience. You know, they love him, so he's very charismatic as well. So.
Oh yeah, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I have one of his
Many
CDs.
greetings to him from here.
But there was something I was going to say about, you're talking about how his performance last night, and I was thinking about you started off with a bang when you did your concert a few nights ago. You started off with the Giuliani Grand Overture,
Mm-hmm.
and then you went to the Chacona,
Mm-hmm.
Chacon. But I was thinking about how, like, when you're at the conservatory, you've probably been playing that Giuliani forever, and I mean probably like 20 years or more, and just
In my first competition already, I played it.
yeah.
The first competition I ever won in Sevilla.
Yeah.
I played that Grand Overture already. 2001, imagine. Space Odyssey.
No, that'll be the next arrangement.
Stanley Kubrick sat in his jury.
Well, no, I was thinking it's like you bring something fresh to it. Like that's one of the most difficult pieces for the artistic responsibility of someone like you,
Mm-hmm.
that you have with the public and on record. Like you have these pieces that you play over and over and over again, but you have to bring something fresh to it every single time. It's not, and the thing is, you do it, and I mean the Chacon, you probably did the entire partita by Bach.
Not yet. Actually.
No, not yet.
I have read it, you know, but I have a lot of difficulties adding a new Bach piece into my program. I'm always afraid to play Bach, but with the Chacon, I'm never afraid. I don't know why. You know? Maybe because the Chacon, maybe, I mean, I don't like to play like motu perpetuo pieces. They make me a little bit nervous, you know,
Yeah.
like a Presto Sonata number 1. It's like, when do you breathe there? You know, it's like, even La Catedral, it's
Yeah.
a little bit like, similar to this G minor Presto. But with the Chacon, like it's always like variation after, you can breathe after every variation, you know? And then you have the second part, before that you make a long trill, you breathe. I like that, in that piece I feel at home, you know? But there are pieces by Bach, like Preludio, Fuga, and Allegro.
Yeah.
I played since 25 years and I never played live. I'm afraid to play them. I hope one day I will feel good enough to play them, you know. But I play them at home, like maybe once a week or something like that. So that it's good, you know. I mean, Bach teaches you how to play different voices at the same time, how to practice phrasing with long phrases, you know, how to keep focus, you know, on the counterpoint, you know, and the harmony is very rich as well, you know. And it's great music, you know. At least we can play Bach, you know. We don't play that much Mozart and Beethoven, but maybe one day I would like to try to transcribe also some Mozart and Beethoven.
Question about the Chacon: Did you play directly from the violin, or did you violin manuscript,
Mm-hmm.
or did you get the Segovia edition
Mm-hmm.
or Carl Scheidt and be like, no, I'm going to make these changes? Because sometimes it's kind of more practical to get something that's already, because I mean, why reinvent the wheel? But some people like going like to the original source. What do you do?
Well, I started playing the chaconne very young. I think I was 15 or something like that. And I had to learn it for the Segovia competition in La Herradura, in Granada. And it was like the set piece for the first round, imagine. Everyone playing the bass chaconne. So when I saw that, I always wanted to learn that piece. So I took the Segovia edition. And I still play a lot of things from the Segovia edition. Like it's impossible for me to hear. I mean, I could try, but it feels like if I do that, I will miss it a lot, because I think his transcription is great. You know, it's a landmark in guitar history. But then I studied in Germany, you know, with Joaquin Clers, who is a great Bach specialist, who himself studied with the great Bach scholar Nikolaus Harnoncourt. And I also had the chance to study not with Harnoncourt but with his assistant Anthony Spiri, who was also Joaquin's teacher, and I practiced the chaconne. I mean, I studied with the chaconne with him. And what I use now is a kind of let's say facsimile, you know, of a manuscript from the chaconne with Joaquin fingerings, ideas, some bases that he added. But you know, sometimes I improvise ornamentations. I don't play exactly the bases that he wrote. In some parts I don't, in other parts I do. And sometimes I like to add, for instance, in the arpeggio sections, the long arpeggio sections, before the first section finishes, I like to add some Segovia bases, you know, the D strings, which you don't have in the violin version, but that sometimes reminds you a little bit of the Busoni version for piano as well. But I have a lot of fun, you know, like it's a combination. For me, the chaconne, it's like it reminds me to a lot of different periods in my life. So I like to keep, during this interpretation, I played those details, those details. Who knows what I will add to it in 20 years? Let's see. Let's make an interview in 20 years.
I'll be around. Yeah. Well. One last question. The Beatles or the Stones? The Rolling Stones?
Wow. Well, I would say the Beatles, but I haven't studied the Stones enough. Actually, I have an anecdote. The first time I flew to Los Angeles, I was super jet lagged, and I was going for the Barker guitar competition in 2009, and we had like host families. And I remember my family was John Sambetti. He was a doctor who played electric guitar, and he picked me up at the LA airport, and he told me, "You're going to have lunch with the Rolling Stones producer."
Really?
Whose name is Andrew Oldham. And at the time he was living in Colombia. I think he had some radio program in Colombia about rock music and so. And he came in, and I had no idea who this person was, but then he started talking about the Rolling Stones, about the Beatles, and then he also worked for the Beatles. He works for both the Beatles and the Stones, and he told me, you know, at the beginning, the Stones, that's funny, I never talk about the Rolling Stones in an interview, but that's funny. But he told me at the beginning, the Stones, you know, they only wanted to party very hard, you know, with girls, and they didn't compose their own songs. They play, you know, they were like classical guitarists who plays other people's works. And then he motivated them to write their own songs, you know. So very, very nice stories, very, very funny things happened there. But actually, I have heard more the Beatles. One of my favorite songs is Hey Jude, for instance. And I think also with classical guitarists, there is more relation with Beatles. If you take Leo Brouwer, the orchestration that he made, you know, from Yesterday to Penny Lane, the Takemitsu arrangements, you know, so many people have arranged. But who has played the Rolling Stones on classical guitar? I should do it, no? You
should do it, yeah. Well, you have the arrangement of, what was that? The Star Wars. You did the.
Yes, Celso did it. He's in Córdoba, yes.
Yeah, you did that with the. I love the introduction that you did to it. That was great.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and we want to do more. Yeah, I think arranging it's a great way to connect not only with a mainstream audience, but with even with a classical music audience, you know, from Vienna, from Berlin, from New York, because our repertoire is not, I mean, of course, Asturias, Recuerdos de la Alhambra, Concierto de Aranjuez, that's all very famous. But if you play Ponce Sonata Number 3 for a classical music audience, they don't know how it sounds, you know? It's like you play for them modern music, or you play for them some Renaissance etude. Unfortunately, they don't know that. They know much better Ravel's Bolero or Pictures of an Exhibition by Mussorgsky, you know, things like that. Pom, 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 pom. And I think that's also the key of connecting with an audience, and also having the presenters wanting to present guitar concerts, you know, and trying to expand our audience. You know, this is what I'm trying to do. I don't know if I succeed or not, but it's what I try to do. And you can combine in a concert maybe a Ponce sonata. Mm-hmm. I mean, I talk now for a classical music audience, and you can do Rolling Stone, or you can do Schubert's famous tune, mm-hmm. transcribed for guitar, which will sound incredible on guitar. Of course, trying to transcribe, unless you are Yamashita, who is a genius, you know, who can play the Firebird by Stravinsky and sounds incredible.
Yeah.
I think Stravinsky would be totally astonished to listen to Yamashita playing the Firebird, you know. I'm reading a lot on Rubinstein's biography, which I recommend everyone, his encounters with Stravinsky, you know, and the way that at the beginning Stravinsky wrote a piece for it's called Piano Rag or something, number 1 or something, and Rubinstein didn't like the piece. You can listen to it on Spotify. And then he was very impressed by Petrushka, the ballet that Stravinsky wrote, and Rubinstein is funny because Rubinstein always liked, he arranged Wagner, the Valkyrias, you know, Ride of the Valkyrias. He arranged many things, operas, and then he arranged a little bit. Look how it sounds, it's Petrushka, and you could use here the pedal. And Stravinsky decided to take 3 movements from the ballet, you know. And it became a super hit. Everybody has played the Petrushka, which is very difficult. So we should do the thing the same. If the pianists do it, you know, they have so much repertoire. Yeah.
Well, you have a really awesome way of connecting everything, just like your playlist or your set list for the night when you for your recital. You went from one to the other, and you had a very logical way of how you're like, well, this one, you know, this is Bach, and then this next one is like influenced by Bach, mm-hmm. and then the second half was it was more of a world music thing when you went from the flamenco to the bossa nova. And it was very nice.
Because I love also going to a concert of another guitarist, and maybe he will tell me things that are obvious to me, but maybe things that I forgot. Mm-hmm. So it's a way to refresh, you know, your knowledge about guitar. But I do that also I try to find connections and things maybe that were details where I see the pieces are similar or have some sort of connection to connect better with the audience, you know. Some audience, maybe some people, you know, that are they going to a guitar concert for the first time or for the second time or for the third time? I mean, the festival here is really long in Cordoba, but I'm sure you always have at least 2 persons or 3 persons that go for the first time to a concert, and we have to convince them. We have to welcome them to our world, you know, and I think that's a very good way, you know, because even myself, I played many years Torre Bermeja by Albéniz, and I always thought, because Bermeja means red in Spanish, that it was about La Alhambra. And that sounds so beautiful, the Alhambra. Of course, it's so romantic, La Alhambra. But then I discovered this Torre Bermeja in Cádiz, where Albéniz went there, where La Barrosa, the famous beach in Cádiz, that Paco de Lucía wrote a tune, an Alegría, dedicated to that beach. And there is a red tower in that beach, or there used to be, when Albéniz was alive, a little red tower in the beach, you know. And this is the inspiration. So even you know, listening to that piece for 10-15 years, I had the wrong, but it doesn't matter, you know, it's just Andalusia, it's just inspiration knows no boundaries, you know, it's just all together, and the magic is everywhere, here in Cordoba, in Granada, in Sevilla, everywhere. But we always need to make some sort of, establish some sort of connection, and give them a little bit of help, so that during the whole interpretation they are, at least focused. They have one or two ideas to stay connected, because not everybody is a musician. Not everybody has we can read scores, we can play 15-20 minute pieces, and we know so many, not only guitar pieces, guitar builders, guitar strings, guitar concertos, and we are guitar freaks, but they are not. And you have to start always with one or two simple things, and that's why I think it's very helpful.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, Miguel. Pleasure. All the best.